in Rockford love him, make him miss home a little. You all ready for your next comic?
Yeah!
This next gentleman coming to the stage. This actually is so funny. This is how funny he is. He is so funny that a young lady came to one of the open mics and tried doing comedy for the first time, the same night that David was doing his thing, and he was so funny. He made her like want to like hatch this plan to blow up Bloomington to eliminate the competition. That's how funny he was. He made her go like Dark Knight Rises is what I'm saying. So please welcome to the stage a very funny Mr. David Rader.
If you feel self-conscious, guys, don't worry about it. I'm sure by the end of the night, Marcus is going to comment on each and every single one of our penises. It's like halfway there already. I'll admit I'm not operating at my my absolute peak. I have had a chest cold the past couple days. It's not being sick though that bothers me. I can tough through that. So yesterday I was looking in my waste paper basket. More specifically, I was looking at the tissues inside there, and I realized something. Did you guys realize that chest phlegm and semen have the exact same consistency? Yeah. You'll never forget it again. I'll never forget it again. Did you just mutter, "That's true"? Oh my God. Alright, another reason I'm not feeling too great is, last night, you ever have one of those nights where you end up drinking way more than you initially intended to at the beginning of the evening? And it's not an applause-worthy thing. It's actually kind of the slippery slope to nowhere. But yeah, you know. I had one of those nights last night where I was just sipping on a beer, no big deal. And then all of a sudden somebody was yelling out, "Hey, take a shot! Hey, take another shot! Hey, take another shot!" And you don't want to disappoint that person, you know, so I just kept following along, and this morning I woke up going, "Ah, jeez. I was drinking alone. Why was I yelling at no one?" Put a lot of effort into this. I wore my formal t-shirt this evening. $2 at a Goodwill. Here's something I'm not proud of. If I see somebody with a physical disability on occasion, and I'm not proud of this, but I do catch myself staring at it, I'm not proud of that. But on the other hand, I do have like a half dozen friends with lazy eyes who consider me the greatest listener they've ever met, so could be worse. I was watching a documentary show on MTV not too long ago, True Life. You guys know that show? The True Life was I'm deaf. And it was this 17-year-old kid who had been deaf his whole life. And he was going to get a cochlear implant fitted at the doctor's office. And when he was going to get this cochlear implant fitted, he was wearing a Beatles shirt. And I actually caught myself thinking, he's not a real fan, you know? A fucking poser. Can't buy that. He had a girlfriend too. He had a 17-year-old girlfriend, and she was trying to learn sign language to better communicate with him. And I don't care who you are, man or woman, if you're an adult, you watch that and you think back to all the relationships you were into where you couldn't even have your significant other help you find your fucking car keys. Where do you meet that? At church? I don't know where you meet that type of person. I have an attractive cousin. There's no good way to segue into this next joke, so I just throw it out there. I do. It's the thing about it is it used to just be my secret, but I had a graduation party for graduating high school because nobody thought I'd do it, and so we went there and they all saw my cousin, and now all they do is text me like, "Hey, when's your next family function so we can go hit on your attractive cousin?" And I figured I might as well make it work for me. So now I just tell them that every family function I have is BYOB. And then that way, I don't have to stay sober throughout the entire baptism, you know. It's a Catholic ceremony, that's like 5 hours. There's something I admire about Catholic priests is the amount of restraint they show during their ceremonies. Like during the Mass. Like, there's so many intricate parts, and they don't seem like they ever get bored. I know that if I were doing the thing with the holy water, you know, I would not be able to resist the urge to just go, ah, skeet, skeet, at least once. Just real quick onto your breast so nobody notices. Ah, skeet, skeet. What, it's Latin, go sit down. I've never stood on stage cross-legged before. I'm not gonna make that a thing. Hey, look, guys, I made a 4. All right, I'm done. I know a lot of parents now, a lot of intentional parents, and I talked to somebody recently who just had a kid, and he said, David, before I had my child, my life had no purpose. And I told him, that sounds like a really bad codependent relationship you have here. I'm just gonna throw this out, maybe a 3-week trial separation, see if this is what you wanna do. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that freeloader hasn't even looked for a job. He's just shitting on you, shitting on everything. Let me see here. I'm not gonna ask if anybody here smokes marijuana. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you guys this PSA. If you spill marijuana on your carpet, don't try to be a hero and try to pick it up real quick. Take your time. Otherwise you're gonna end up doing what I did a week ago. I ended up smoking a bunch of carpet lint and a toenail. I don't know if you've ever had athlete's foot in your lungs, let me tell you about it. Really itchy, you can't scratch it, so just to get some sort of relief, you swallow a back scratcher. You end up in the ER and they're like, why'd you swallow a back scratcher if it's your respiratory system? I'm like, because I didn't graduate college. Sold my textbooks for pot. I have to learn about socialization through trial and error. Here's a thing I learned just the other day. If you are at the gym and you accidentally brush against a woman's arm and she says, excuse me, the proper response is not, no, please, it's been so long since I've known the touch of a woman. That joke works because it's believable. The funny thing is, like, when you're running and taking your pulse, you're supposed to check it every 30 seconds and multiply by 2, but I'm too impatient. So what I do is I just take my pulse for 5 seconds, and I multiply by 12, and if the number's too high for me to figure out, I call 911. They don't greet me with medical treatment anymore. They just, the last time I was in there, they were just holding flashcards like, come on, David, you know this. It's like, obviously I don't, because that's what you do when you go in the ER. You give your medical attention, like, attitude right off the bat. And then that way, you're memorable. Let's see here. Oh, I was hanging out with a friend not too long ago in his hometown. He grew up in the southern part of the state, and he wanted to take me to the bar where he had his first drink. And to his credit, we did actually have a really fun time, to the degree where when we were hanging out here the next week, he wanted me to take me to the place where I had my first drink. And I was trying to explain to him how I don't even think we could get it back in there, how I don't even think I'm allowed. It's not even really that great of an atmosphere. But he was very persistent about it. He was one of those guys, so finally I relented. And so it's just the two of us inside of my mother's womb, right? Fire marshal shut us down for being over capacity. My father's a fire marshal. Next joke. That's my last one. I'm gonna get out of here. I met a girl recently who, when I initially met her, she was perfect for me in almost every single way. I could only find one problem with her initially, is that she was anti-Semitic. That wasn't any good, so I decided I was going to deprogram her, for lack of a better word. And the way I went about that was, whenever we were fooling around in bed, and she would climax, I would yell out, Mazel Tov! Thinking, that would help. It actually did work, and I'll tell you about the day I realized it worked. We were fooling around, and she climaxed, and before I could say anything, she broke a plate over my head. That's when I knew. All right, everybody. My name's David Ryder. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening.